My expenses for food have gone down compared to 2 years ago. But how? It doesn't really make sense, right? If anything, it should have gone up. So there are only two possibilities. I either really overspent in the past few years and now adjusted my budget, or my budgeting skills really improved now. So which is it? In this video today, I want to share with you how much I and my husband spent on groceries and eating out in the past 5 years since arriving here in 2018 in Canada until now in 2023. And in case you're not in Canada yet, but you're planning or considering to move here, I hope that this video can give you some idea of how much things cost here. And if you're still wondering how much you need to budget for food, this might give you some idea of how your personal decisions when shopping can affect your total budget. Inflation, the elephant in the room, obviously. So let's start by talking about that. Prices for food purchased from stores rose 9.8% in 2022, the fastest pace since 1981, after increasing 2.2% in 2021. So if this costs, let's just say $10 at the beginning of 2022, it would mean that by the end of 2022, that would cost $11. We're not done yet. Let's now look at this 2023 report that says that in 2023, prices will rise further by 5 to 7%. So although it's less than 10%, it's still a lot. The report forecasts that an average family of 4, including a man, woman, boy, and girl, will spend up to $16,288 per year on food, an increase of up to $1,065 from what we observed in 2022. And by the way, guys, when reading this report, it wasn't really clear if this just included grocery items, things you purchased at the store, or also eating out. It just said that it included food. But anyway, it doesn't matter. What matters is that there was a significant increase in 2022 and that prices will keep on rising. So based on this alone, you would guess that my grocery bill, my food bill, would also have increased by around 10%, right? But as I said in the beginning, our groceries and eating out bill actually decreased in the past 2 years. And in the past year alone, we decreased it by 20%. So what actually happened? Did I really splurge in the past few years and now have a normal budget? Or have I suddenly become super frugal? I personally would say that it's something in between, but you judge for yourself, because in a moment I will share with you how much we spent on groceries and eating out over the past 5 years, and you can compare that with what you are spending and make your own judgment. I hope I'll not regret making this video, because normally I hate to disclose really personal information, but for you guys, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna lay it all out. So I'm going to show you how over the past 5 years since arriving here in Canada, our expenses went up and down and up and down, and how our spending habits changed along with that. This will not be a true apple-to-apple comparison, because earlier in the two stats, it only included food, but my budget category is actually groceries and eating out. So groceries would be anything that we buy at the supermarket, fruit and vegetable store, at the butcher's, also including things like toilet paper, laundry detergent, toothpaste, but excluding things like cosmetics, stationery, and so on. You get the point. So now let's start with the year 2018. So let me pull over my other laptop for that. 2018 was the year when we just arrived in Canada. We arrived here in the month of August. So for groceries, we spent approximately $450 per month between the two of us, eating out $400, so in total we spent $850, which per person comes down to $425. So this is what happened. At that time, when we just arrived here in Canada, we were very careful with our expenses. We had brought along cash with us and we were living off of our savings. We were not working yet. We were mostly going to No Frills and buying no brand items. And we also cooked at home a lot, and we did very simple meals such as stir fry, sandwiches, and so on. But at the same time, when we just arrived in Canada, we were also kind of in this touristy mode. You know what I mean. When you just visit a new country or you just moved, you just want to explore everything, try out everything, all the restaurants, cafe, and so on. I would say that in the year 2018, our expenses were just average. Not too much, but also not too little. And at that time, we didn't really have a budgeting plan or a strategy. The plan was just to spend as little as we could and go with the flow and enjoy our new lives here. By the way, guys, if you found this video interesting so far, then please do me a favor and hit the like button. It would really help this video to get out to more people and also help my channel. Thank you. And now let's go on to year 2019. In the year of 2019, we spent $550 on groceries, $375 on eating out, which is less, and in total we spent $925, which per person would be $462.50, an increase of 8.82%. So what happened during that time? In 2019, my husband was studying, he was getting a postgraduate certificate in film business, and I was working. So although we were still living off of our savings and we had to be very careful with our expenses, now we had a bit of a subsidy from my part-time income. So we had a bit more security, and we thought that now we can spend a bit more. So then when we went to the supermarket for our weekly groceries, we stopped sticking to the basics and started buying more snacks, a bit more meat, a bit more seafood, and so on. But luckily, we also realized that eating out really costs a lot of money. So although our grocery bill went up, we really tried to eat out less and cook more at home, and that is why we were able to reduce our eating out budget. And now let's go on to 2020. What happened there? Interestingly, in the year 2020, our grocery budget stayed the same at $540. And here again, I just want to remind you guys, groceries here does not just include food for us. It also includes things like kitchen paper towels, water filters, basically things that we buy at the supermarket on a regular basis. And as I said before, we spent less on eating out. We only spent $342, which if you think about it is really not too much. $340 divided by 2 is $170. So that means about $40 per person per week. And yes, eating out also includes that bubble tea or that ice cream that we just couldn't resist. So that year in total, we spent $882 on groceries and eating out, which comes down to $441 per person. And that was a decrease of 4.65%. Not bad. So what actually happened there? In 2020, my husband started working full-time. He got his first full-time job as an accountant, and in that year I started studying. I also got my postgraduate certificate in the same field in film business, and in addition to that, I had a very lucrative part-time freelance job. And if you want to know more about that, I made a video on that. I will link it up here for you. So now for the first time, we were not living off of our savings anymore, and we were so glad about that. We were starting to earn more, and we also felt that we could, in theory, spend more. But at the same time, we also realized that now that we're earning more money, we're not living of our savings anymore, we can actually start saving. We can actually start to have a surplus. And that was so inspiring. That gave us so much hope for our new life here in Canada that we actually started to implement a budget. I mean, we did have a budget before, but for the first time, we really started to stick to it. And this, guys, I would say is proof that your budget, your expenses do not necessarily have to go up year over year. Even though there's inflation, I mean, I know it really sucks, but there's just nothing that you can do about it, right? What you can do is change your spending habits. So there is a way to adjust your spending habits, deciding where to shop, where not to shop, how much you consume, what brands you consume, and so on, so you can still stay on budget. But anyways, this is just a theory. In a moment, I will tell you something that happened to us in 2021, which I kind of regret. But before we go on to that, guys, in case you're not subscribed to this channel yet, but you're enjoying these kinds of videos, then make sure that you subscribe to my channel. And in that case, also make sure that you hit the little notification bell down below. YouTube will notify you each and every time there's a new video. So make sure that you also set that to all notifications. My channel Living in Canada is now about to reach 9,000 subscribers, and it will likely reach 10,000 pretty soon. Once it hits 10,000 subscribers, I will make a special video for you guys where I tell you where I'm from, a bit more about my background, because so far I haven't really talked a lot about myself. And in the comments, I noticed that people are kind of speculating where I am from and what my background is. So if you want to help me on my way to 10,000 subscribers, then do make sure to subscribe. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you. So now let's go on to 2021 and I'll tell you what happened. Great thing is that both of us started to earn more. In that year, 2021, our total household income went up by about 50 to 60%, if not more. My husband switched jobs and got a salary increase, and I still had that very lucrative part-time freelance job, and on top of that, I also had another job. So our earning position was really not too bad. But the bad thing was that we kind of let go and started splurging. Yes, we got sucked into lifestyle inflation. We started splurging. Our shopping became fancier. We started to buy more organic. And don't get me wrong, I love buying organic and I think that it's important, but the thing is that you also have to be realistic, right? And see whether or not you are able to buy everything organic. So we switched to an organic butcher and bought grass-fed organic beef. We bought organic salmon and we made a few trips to Whole Foods. We made frequent trips to the cheese boutique. The cheese boutique, by the way, is an awesome store that sells all sorts of delicious cheeses and cuts, pastries, chocolates, and so on. It's a really awesome place, but once you go in there, you are sure to spend a lot of money. So 2021 was really a very, very busy time for us. We worked really hard. Both I and my husband frequently worked until 11 or 12 at night, and we were just exhausted and not in the mood for cooking, and we started ordering a lot of Uber Eats, like 3 times a week or so. And before we knew it, our expenses for groceries and eating out just exploded. Yes, I know you want to see the numbers. So here it is. In 2021, our grocery bill went up from previously $540 to $650. Our eating out bill went up from $342 to $667. Good job. So these were our sushi, Uber Eats, pizza, Uber Eats, bubble tea, Uber Eats, and eating out, going to cafes. And in total, we spent $1,300 between the two of us, which comes down to $660 per person. And that was an increase of a whopping 50% from 2020. If you ever get a salary increase, you started to earn more, don't just let go and let your budget, your expenses increase along with that. But we learned our lesson. So everything changed in the year after. In 2022, we decided that we really wanted to curb our budget and implement a strict budget. And here you can see that we managed to decrease our overall budget for groceries and eating out from the $1,300 to $1,250, which is still a lot. But as I'll show you, it will become better in 2023. So in 2022, we spent $680 on groceries. And don't forget that 2022 was the year where we experienced that 10% inflation. So we could say that in that year, we actually only spent $600 on groceries, but because of inflation, we spent $680. And on eating out, we managed to reduce our expenses from $667 to $562. So I can imagine that this number, $620 for eating and all sorts of groceries per person, will invite many mixed reactions from you guys. Some of you might feel that this number is totally normal because it does include eating out and all those things like kitchen towels, laundry detergent, toothpaste, and everything that I mentioned before. But for some of you, this number still seems like an enormous amount of money for groceries and eating out. And that's also what we thought. So we were really adamant that we wanted to squeeze this budget. We wanted to decrease it further without reducing the quality of our life too much. We do spend a lot on groceries, on food, because we do think that nutrition is really important. Our philosophy is that we'd rather spend more money on food compared to stuff. We don't spend a lot of money on trinkets, gadgets, stuff, and so on. So anyways, in 2022, we managed to reduce our budget by almost 6%. Now, what about 2023? Despite being a bit splurgy that year, we still managed to save a lot of money. And we carried over that inspiration to the year 2023. We were really inspired by the possibility of saving more money for our future here in Canada. So we decided in 2023 we would double down. We had this higher income already. So if at the same time we could reduce our expenses more, even though there's this awful inflation, then we could save a lot more money that we could possibly put down on a house. And by the way, guys, currently we are considering buying a house here in Toronto. And by house, by the way, I do not mean detached or semi-detached house. I mean a condo or apartment. And we already saved up money for that, but just to be safe, we want to add on an additional security layer and have additional emergency savings. But anyways, in the year 2023, we managed to cut our expenses further by 20%. So our grocery bill went down from $680 to $602 per month, eating out from $562 to $390. So we were quite disciplined this year. So in total, we spent $992 per month, which per person comes down to almost $500. And I would say that this budget level of $500 per person really allows you to have good quality living. It doesn't mean mean that you can splurge and you really have to watch your budget, but it does allow you to get some good quality meat and seafood into your diet, some organic veggies and fruits, some snacks a couple of times eating out, some ice creams, and so on. So am I happy with this? Not totally. Our plan is to keep our budget at this level. So despite our income going up in the next few years and perhaps also inflation still going up, like the report said, prices will still rise by about 5 to 7%. We want to still keep our budget at the same level as it is now. I'll make sure that I'll track my budget, and then maybe later on, mid this year or end of this year, I will provide you with another update. And let's see what happens then. Okay guys, I hope that this video was useful to you and that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.